Depression is a learning experience. Wow, this is a bold statement. And of course, I don't wish depression upon anyone, but I assume that if you're watching this video, you are depressed, or you have been, or you know someone who has been depressed. And it can be one of the worst, most terrifying, most devastating experiences ever. But I've recently come to think that everything that I experience, even good or bad, can be a learning process, can be a learning experience, and can bring me some good. And it is true that I have had 2 depressions, and I have it very clearly that my first depression, at least, was a learning experience. My second one, I'm still recovering a bit from it, so it's still hard to see those good points, but I will do this together with you, and I will see with you what are the lessons that I also took from the second breakdown that I had. So my first mental breakdown came after a burnout, actually. And I can now look back and see the mistakes I made. And attention, I'm not doing this to blame myself or to guilt myself or to feel bad about myself. This is to get better, to improve myself. But I look back at the time before my first depression and the burnout that I had. And the reason was that I simply would not stop. I was not loving myself enough. I was not giving myself the time to rest. I had just come to Brussels. I had a breakup with a narcissistic boyfriend. I had to sort my life out. I hated my job. It was all chaotic. And I wouldn't stop for a second. And I wouldn't give myself the space to breathe and to just enjoy life and to just enjoy the process. I was always futurizing, always anxious about whatever was going to happen. And I didn't let myself the time to play. And eventually my body crashed and it started to feel hopeless. And this is when I started getting depressed with suicidal thoughts. And then I had to go on Lexapro, like my other videos say. And I was on this drug for 2.5 years. And I recovered a lot. And I made a lot of improvements in my life. Unfortunately, when I came off Lexapro, for a combination of reasons, but mainly because of the post-withdrawal symptoms of the drug, so the aftermath of this drug, when my brain realized it was no longer in my system, the Lexapro, I had a really intense episode, and I got really depressed, again with suicidal thoughts. What did I do that led to this? How is it my responsibility? Well, I took a drug that maybe I shouldn't have taken. It was from the beginning a bad sign. From the beginning, my body was giving me bad signs about this drug. I quit on a time that wasn't good for me because it was in the middle of a breakup, but I still insisted on quitting. So I wasn't stable and I still did it. So I have to pay more attention to that. And also, I think that second depression also, it wasn't a coincidence that it came around Christmas time, because I am no contact with my narcissistically abusive family, and you can see videos about narcissism on my narcissistically abused playlist. And I finished my relationship with them very abruptly, and I didn't have time to grieve. So I think the depression called upon my grieving, and I had a chance to grieve when I was feeling really depressed. So this depression was bringing me attention to the fact that I hadn't grieved my family. I just cut with them, and I was just telling myself, okay, I'm really happy about this. I have nothing more to think about this, but I still had that grieving process that I still had to go through. And also, I wasn't paying attention to my finances. One of the main reasons why I got into this hole of this depression was that I was paranoid about money. I was paranoid about the future. about living on the streets. I was catastrophizing with all kinds of scenarios because in the past I hadn't saved enough. I hadn't paid enough attention to my finances, and I wasn't financially healthy, and that started to make me freak out. So what can I learn? What can you learn? Well, in my case, the two depressions made me stronger. They made me a stronger person, especially the second one. I can now tell myself that if I've been through that and that was fucking hell, I can go through anything. You can bring anything at me. You know, I am so much stronger now because of that event. Yes, there might be a relapse, and yes, I'm still recovering, and yes, I'm still anxious, and I'm still medicated, and I'm still tapering my pills, but I'm so much stronger if anyone brings anything at me, you know. The second thing that I've learned is that in both cases, I have better relationships with people, because anyone who has come into my life when I was depressed and stayed there, they have been so good to me. They have just been so good to me, and I'm just so grateful for those people. And also, I'm much more quick on getting rid of toxic people because I gain more sensitivity. I think when you're recovering from a major breakdown, you gain more sensitivity to what's right or what's wrong to you. So you feel it immediately in your body, and your body starts reacting. And if you're perfectly mentally healthy, you can bring people to your life or situations that are not exactly good for you, but because you've never been really, really low, you take the risk because you don't know how it can affect you. But if you have already been really low, you know that the slightest thing can set you off. So if someone toxic comes to your life, you're very quick to get rid of it. In my case, that's the case. That's what I think. So if you are recovering from depression, and if you're bitter about what you have experienced, which is normal, it's okay. But try to think already, what has this depression brought to you? What has brought you to this point? So what did you do in the past that brought the depression? Maybe it was nothing. It could be a physiological thing. That's totally possible. But think about maybe if there was some factor that you could have controlled, and you can now do better in the future in relation to that. And if you are if you are recovering from it, what are you learning from it right now? How has it made you a better person? This can improve your recovery, actually. And it can also, if you're still depressed, improve your depression. If you look at these factors, what did I do to make me what did I do that is perhaps my responsibility and brought me to this point? Or what am I learning from the situation, no matter how hard it is? Maybe it can help you get out of your depression faster. Or if you're completely recovered, think about what this experience has taught you, and think about how you can apply it to your life to become a better person and to become even more happy and more fulfilled. Depression is horrible. Again, I don't wish it to anyone, but you do have the choice. You have the choice to become resentful and bitter about it, or you have the choice to learn from it and move on and become a better person, a stronger person because of it. Okay, I hope this video helped. You can always email me at this email address here. I'm stuttering a lot. Sorry, I don't know what it is. And I wish you happy healings and a wonderful winter, a wonderful, cozy winter.